Ever know anyone who just seemed to attract people? I mean, people were just drawn to them. They were people magnets. What qualities do they have that cause that? And is there anything we can learn from them? Let's see if we can figure that out. In 1 Chronicles chapter 12, you see people just being drawn to David, and particularly warriors and soldiers. And these were no slouches either. They were men of renown. There were archers who could shoot with both the right hand and the left hand. There were soldiers who were good at defensive and offensive, good with the shield and the spear. And the weakest of them could take on 100 men. Well, what was it about David that drew these high-level people to him? Well, we don't get to see exactly that in 1 Chronicles chapter 12, but if you look at David's life, it's not hard to figure out. One, David was a man who would go to the front lines with his men. He wouldn't sit back in the back. He would fight shoulder to shoulder on the front lines with them. He was a man who had both integrity and humility. Those are tough qualities to find in one person. And he was a man who appreciated his people. He appreciated them and sought to get them in the right place where they needed to be. But probably the most important quality about David was he was passionate about God and he was focused on God. He was focused on everything he did, honoring and pleasing God. How do you measure up to these qualities that David had? What's one quality you need to work on maybe this week? And if you don't know which one that might be, start with focusing on and honoring God, for being passionate about Him. Because when you do that, all these other qualities will kind of come into play. I hope your week becomes a week where you become more like David in these ways. Have a great week. I'll see you next week.